knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're an Oreo cookie. White in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro. I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Once again, I hope you had a very good Memorial Day weekend. And just before you took the first bite, that you gave a moment of prayer and appreciation to the men and women of the armed forces who made that possible. All right, I just hope you did. And now you're back at work. 3 interesting subject matters here. Will Americans fight to regain their privacy?
Yeah, we were talking a lot about privacy last week, and I thought it was good to I wanted to continue it a little bit because there's so much stuff out there on privacy right now.
Yeah.
And for instance, there's a woman who is part of the Bilderberger group, who are the ones who meet. They're kind of like the really high-end elite folks that meet secretly every year. And she's one of those folks. And pay attention to Europe right now, because Europe is where a lot of things are being implemented as to where they will go to America after that. But a lot of things are being implemented in Europe. She is pushing now in Europe, a mandatory internet ID, so that when you go on the internet, you have your own so-called digital signature, something that only you have. And you have to have, they're pushing it so that you have to have that ID if you want to go on the internet and involve yourself in, buying things online and getting involved in different things that are going on online. They are trying to narrow it down so that you have a particular internet ID that goes to you. This woman's name is Neelie Kroes, and she was a Bilderberger person, and she now is called the EU's Commissioner for Digital Agenda. So they've given her a new title now, and they're really pushing this. They're claiming that this is going, the United States is pushing this as well. The United States has created something called U.S. Cybercom in recent years. They also appointed the NSA head General Keith Alexander. He also meets at Bilderberg. So we have United States people that are meeting over the Bilderberg.
And what is
Bilderberg?
What is Bilderberg?
There's probably a lot of people who know more about Bilderberg and so forth than me, but it's one of these kind of secret society places. It's a group of elites in different fields who meet and come up with policies that they believe the world should be doing.
Is it made up of politicians only?
I believe Bilderberger is similar to some of these other groups where it's made up of politicians, some media, head people in companies, big major corporations.
From around the world, right?
From around the world.
Okay.
And also people are meeting, Silicon Valley people are meeting, and a lot of these people are converging together and having meetings, and they're trying to coordinate some emerging regulations, new internet laws and treaties. It's very interesting stuff, and we need to keep an eye on it. I've got some other examples of that. Here's a woman, another shameless, Elizabeth Moon. Shameless Elizabeth Moon, I'm going to call her. She's got a great idea that she put on the BBC called Barcode Everybody at Birth. She wants to have everybody, when you're a baby, implant a chip in them so they can have a fast and easy way to identify individuals. Isn't that nice? And here's the way they sell this stuff. More accountability. See, it's going to make people more accountable, more responsible. So if you have someone in the military and they shoot someone, they're going to know who shot the person. You can get that person now. She admits that anonymity, which is privacy, will be impossible. But she said you won't be able to have a mistaken identity either. That's another example.
What is the purpose behind all this? Why do they want to do this?
Well,
with the internet, and I mean, is there like an attempt to control everybody?
Yeah, yeah. They're putting this stuff under the idea that it's more responsibility. Everybody will know who is who. You won't be able to have your identity ripped off. But what it comes down to is control, as it always does for evil people. And when I talk, I'm sure there's religious folks out there that are thinking, wow, didn't I read this in the book of Revelations? Or,
yeah, Audrey just put on the board, 666.
Yeah, the book of Daniel. You read these apocalyptic books, it's all there. It's like, there'll come a point where you can't buy, sell, or trade unless you have a mark of they call the mark of the beast. If this ain't the mark of the beast, It's pretty close. I don't know how else, if you're going to implant somebody with stuff and they're going to say a mark of the beast, what does a mark mean? It means a mark is something that marking inside you. So if they're putting something like that inside you, and this gets back to what we talked about last week, Jesse, they won't go after the criminals.
Right.
So they're going to make everybody's life a living hell because they won't single out the people who are actually doing bad. And it reminds me, I always think of the speed bump approach. Instead of nabbing the person who's speeding down your street, they put a speed bump up there so they make it miserable for everybody. And
Good point.
This is what this is all about. They just want to kind of control everyone so they know where everyone's at. If people are making trouble, they can spot them and find them and kind of corral them easily. That's what it's all about. The scary thing is troublemakers aren't the usual troublemakers that we would think about. We would think of troublemakers as like real troublemakers, bullies, people who are stealing, who are robbing, who are raping, who are murdering. In today's society, when you have an evil government come in, such as we have in our country right now, you have evil people look at everything backwards. So they look at the people who are actually the good, the decent people as bad, and those are the people they're trying to corral, the law-abiding. That's what gets so scary about this stuff.
Evil people want to control the good people. It's about getting control over good.
Because they don't really have actual control.
Right.
Because good people are more powerful than them.
Yes.
But it's like Gulliver's Travels. You want to take the giant and pin him down with about 1,000 little people. And that's what they do. They have all these bureaucrats and people who are hiding behind the shadows trying to pin the good, strong person down.
It's amazing, too, how the Bible predict that these things will come about.
And they still happen.
Yeah, and they still happen.
It's like, I don't know, it's like a warning. It's like, hey, watch out for this. And then it happens, and it's like, it's right in front of you. And it's like, wow, these things are really happening.
And I think they're happening because there is a misunderstanding of the Bible. When some people read the Bible and the Bible predict that these things will happen, the reader lack understanding. They don't know it means that they don't have to happen if people stand for good. In Revelation 13, 15 through 17, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. That's something else.
Scary stuff.
That's what you're talking about now.
Yeah, the image. I was just thinking, we were looking at a video the other day of a dead rapper named Tupac. And they had a hologram of this guy, a three-dimensional image of this guy singing at this Coachella rap concert. And this guy was dead. And then they had him doing a duet with Snoop Dogg. And it was really eerie. We were watching it with Andre, and it was very eerie. I think he said it was like, that's bad or that's wrong or something. But it occurred to me, they talk about the image of the beast. These days, everything's going to 3D. So if I was these guys and I wanted to show an image on TV of the beast, whoever that beast may be, I would want to put him in 3D. So if I want to show him around the world, I would put him in 3D like Tupac was and show him as an image like that. Moving this thing from Europe, because a lot of things happen in Europe that don't have to happen. You talk about things not having to happen, Jesse, which is very powerful that you said. Things don't have to happen, but they tend to happen more in Europe because they're more godless than us, a little bit more. And so they're losing their freedoms, they're losing their money, they're going into one currency and losing their flavor of their states. Same way the U.S. is, by the way. We used to have a, 10th Amendment? We still have it in name, which allowed the states to have their own flavor, but now it's kind of all moving away from that. And so they're moving everything in the United States away more towards control. I want to show you a couple of examples just to finish this off, that this is coming to the United States, what we see and going on in Europe here and the Internet ID and all that stuff. Here's a story in San Antonio, a couple stories from Texas, of all places, where it's supposed to be so free. Students will be, this is in a San Antonio, Texas area school. Students will be tracked via chips in IDs. Radio Frequency Identification System, otherwise known as an RFID tag. Andre was talking about that during the break of they might be using that in conjunction with the healthcare bill, but we can talk about that another day. These radio frequency identification tags, and I think they're kind of similar to what you would put on a piece of clothing, so that when someone rips it off out of the store, they get
you
caught.
Get caught, yeah.
I think it's like that. They want to put them on the students. Now, they say they want to do that on the students so they can be safer and people can know where their kids are and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting how they use personal things like that to convince you that it's okay to do this stuff.
Right. In this case, it may be about control, but it actually is about money in a lot of cases because they want to say they're going to make the school safer. They want to know where the students are at all times. And then they say they want to increase revenues. Now, if you look to the next page on this article, and the article says students will be tracked via chips in IDs. That's an actual article in mysanantonio.com, okay? Not making this stuff up here. Now, it says 2 school districts in the Houston area have used this technology already for several years. And they've reported gains of hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue.
So they put these chips in the kids already?
They're keeping them from in school more so they don't leave school, so the parents know they didn't bug out of school.
Right.
The more they stay in school, the school districts get paid, the more the students stay in school because it's based on attendance. They get paid based on attendance.
Amazing.
So they're trying to make more money, and at the cost of that, just to get more money, they're taking the privacy away from the student. Now, this is another article I got from CBS. Groups concerned over the arming of domestic drones. Now, we talked about drones, these planes that fly in the sky with no pilot, they're radio controlled.
Right.
Obama's really loves them. You can go out and kill terrorists with them, and they seem to be great.
I didn't know we had them here. I thought they were just in Afghanistan somewhere.
No, we're using them at the borders. First, we used them somewhere else. Then we brought them to the border to fight the crime. Now we brought them into the U.S. And now they're in tons of places, to my knowledge, all over the country. And now they're talking about arming these suckers. So you're going to have drones, possibly. There's a guy in Texas, Chief Deputy Randy McDaniel of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. He said that he's considering using rubber bullets and tear gas from his drones.
What is the purpose of the drones in America? Why would they fly over us?
To watch over you, to make sure you're not committing crimes, or if you are committing a crime, to tell somebody back at a base somewhere and they could send a car out or something like that. In other words, so they don't have to have a human being interact with you.
So is this a good thing?
No.
And did they get our permission to fly drones over us?
No, and there's a lot of Fourth Amendment search and seizure issues too, because if you've got a drone, you're flying over someone's farm or their land, you could look around. You could basically look around and see whatever you want. We need some more money for our county. This guy's got a barn over there. They didn't tell us about that. Back, and next thing you know, you're getting charged for your barn.
But a lot of Americans don't know that this stuff is happening. So they don't know that their privacy is being taken away.
Or they're so scared. They've been taught that because of after 2001 and Al-Qaeda attack, that because of that, we have to give up our privacy. But this guy here, the guy that wants to do this, McDaniel, he said, well, we're not going to go look over your backyard pool. We just don't care. That's what he's saying. But how do we know about other people who may care?
That's right.
Who may care.
And then what happens is this guy is no longer in the position that he has, and a new person take over, a liberal takes over, and that's it.
Well, perfect example is a lot of the Patriot Act and things that we put in under President Bush. He put a lot of things in there that I don't think he should have done. Then when he leaves, all of a sudden, you got a bad guy, and now that bad guy is looking after you with all of that apparatus in place by the good guy.
What can we do about this? Is there anything that could be done about this now that is out there?
You have to watch in your cities, in your counties, locally, and be involved in watching what's happening. Read your newspaper locally. Go to the meetings sometimes and see what's happening there, because most of the stuff is being instituted on a local, county-wide, city-wide level. And that's where it starts to go in. So if you're in Texas and you think you've got such an independent state and your governor's going to watch out for you, nothing to worry about, I got news for you. You have something to worry about. By the way, the ACLU, and we love to hate the ACLU, but at least on some issues like this one, they are taking some measures to actually watch out for the privacy of the American people.
Oh, okay. Judge Napolitano said on Fox News on Tuesday, the first American patriot that shoots down one of these drones that comes too close to his children in his backyard will be an American hero.
I understand his sentiments. Yeah, I understand his sentiments. If somebody is, I'm not going to say anything to get me in trouble on the air here, but, people have to watch out for the eyes in the sky that are now looking after you. And it's like Big Brother. Remember the 1984 book? And what did they call the person looking after you? Big Brother. It sounded so nice, like you had somebody watching over you that could help protect you. That's what Big Brother is. It's there.
The judge also said that this is unconstitutional. And if it is unconstitutional, how is the government just able to do it? And where are the Republicans on this?
Again, Jesse, I hate to be a broken record on this thing, but the Constitution doesn't matter to the Democrats. They've certainly thrown it out the window. The Republicans don't care all that much about the Constitution. Most of them. There's a few, very few.
Right.
Most of them don't care that much. And so they're also afraid to be called a racist. They're afraid to go up against King Obama. So they won't do anything. They just simply won't do anything. So if we expect to sit around and wait for Republicans to watch out for us, we're in really big trouble.
Both houses of the U.S. Congress just passed this bill, and that included Republicans as well. They voted in favor of the drones to fly in our country. Republicans voted overwhelmingly for this, with 8 voting against it. One who is presidential candidate, Ron Paul, voted against the drones. I'm not surprised that Ron voted against it. And the Democrats overwhelmingly voted against it, with 2 voting for it. That's from the Examiner.com. So why did the Democrats vote against the drones, overwhelmingly voted against the drones, and the Republican voted for it? Well,
again, some Democrats...
And it's unconstitutional.
There are some Democrats, I'm sure, that have some kind of a conscience, and they know it's wrong, and they voted against it. Others are cop haters, and anything to do with law enforcement, they just vote against, period.
That's a Democrat?
And as far as the Republicans go, a few of them have some conscience, and most of them are just kind of knee-jerk, post-9/11, kind of reactionary law and order people without thinking about the Fourth Amendment and the different amendments we have that keep our privacy. They're not real smart, I have to tell you.